talking with Dr. Greenfield. We're actually going to do it right now, though, because we got so much to talk about. She is with Albany Dermatology Clinic, and we're talking about skin cancer. And now, skin cancer, as I've learned from Dr. Greenfield, does not discriminate against different skin types. Anybody can get it.
Yes, absolutely. Most of the people that are going to come into my office worried about skin or changing moles are clearly going to be lighter complected Caucasians. But the point that we really want to talk about today is that skin cancer does not discriminate. It doesn't matter how light or how dark your skin is, you're still going to be susceptible to getting skin cancer.
Okay, so tell us why some people with darker skin might think that they won't get it.
Well, you know, a lot of people, you know, with darker skin, you're definitely going to be more protected from getting sunburns. So a lot of people think, well, if I don't get a sunburn, then my skin's not getting damaged, and therefore I don't need to worry about it. But that's really not true. The sun's going to damage your skin no matter how light or dark you are. Okay. Certainly you're going to have fewer cancers in darker skin, but unfortunately, since that's not really a message that gets out to the Hispanic or the African American community, a lot of those people, by the time they do get skin cancers, they're a lot more advanced because it's not something that's really necessarily discussed within those patient populations.
Right. So now there was a study that was done. 65% people with darker skin did not feel that they were at risk for skin cancer. As you were just saying, 62% of African Americans surveyed never wear sunscreen, and only 17% of those had been to a dermatologist for a skin check.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely find that to be the case. You know, that was a national study, but that's definitely reflected in the patients here in Albany, Georgia as well.
All right, well, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this and the importance of getting a check on your skin and making sure that everything is okay no matter who you are, because the sun, especially we saw with that weather forecast earlier, it's going to be in the hundreds, it's going to be hot. So you guys make sure to stay with us. Right now, we're going to go on out. Everybody needs to think about, especially this summer as we're out enjoying the sun, skin cancer. And not just for Caucasians, but in every type of skin. It's pretty interesting stuff. Stay with us. We'll be back with more Good Day right after this. 7:27. I'm here with Dr. Greenfield. She's from Albany Dermatology Clinic. You can find them on albanydermatology.com if you guys want more information about them. And we're talking all about skin cancer this morning and how it doesn't discriminate. It's available to all skin types. So kind of give us a quick rundown of what we said earlier, just about how anybody can get it.
Yeah, the most important thing to realize is that if you have skin, you're going to be susceptible to skin cancer. Certainly having more pigment, it's protective, but it's not a guarantee that you're not going to get skin cancer.
Now, you were telling me something very interesting about the places that you see skin cancer the most and a specific type of cancer.
Right. The area, especially in a darker complected patient, that I'm going to pay the most attention to is actually the lower legs. I know for myself, I do biking and running, and if I'm going to be outside, I'm definitely going to concentrate on my face and my upper body here, and I think the legs are like the redheaded stepchild. They're often neglected. But interestingly enough, especially in female patients, I see a lot of melanomas on the shins. And in African American patients, the most common skin cancer that I'm going to find in them is going to be the squamous cell carcinoma. And where do you think I find the majority of those? On the shin. Okay. So, you know, it's not an area to be ignored if you're checking your skin or if you're putting sunscreen on. The other important thing to realize is that for the African American patients, that when they come in, if you find a skin cancer on them, the likelihood is that that skin cancer is already going to have spread. The reason being is that it's less likely that it's going to be picked up earlier on, and that's why awareness is so important.
Okay. That's so interesting. I never would have thought about that. And so basically, probably just maybe from all the shorts and the skirts, and during the summer, it's just there exposed.
Yeah, I think so. It's just an area that's out a lot, and we just don't think about it.
Okay. All right, if you guys would like more information, you can contact them at 883-1130, or again at albanydermatology.com. And this is Dr. Greenfield. We're going to be back with Dr. Greenfield in just a little bit, talking about some more cosmetology type things. So stay with us. We're going to go over to Chris now for a check on the weather.
Kelly.
Well, I'm back with Dr. Greenfield. She's from Albany Dermatology Clinic. albanydermatology.com is their website. You can go on over there and see what they've got going on. We're talking a little bit more now about cosmetology. So tell me what you guys offer over there.
Well, you know, this is the interesting part of what we do. You know, a lot of dermatology is medical and surgical, but we also offer some cosmetic procedures. So the most popular things that we offer are going to be the neurotoxins, and those are commonly known as either Botox or Xeomin, Dysport. Those are some of the newer ones. And that's going to be used for the wrinkles more in the upper face. And we're seeing younger and younger people coming in wanting to get those done, even people in their mid-30s.
Wow.
You know, they look in the mirror and they start looking like their mother. And they see the lines here, you know, they look like they're frowning or squinting all the time, or the lines around the eyes. And that's where you would use the toxins like the Botox.
Okay. So now why do you think that people are coming in? I mean, I know you said they're kind of starting to see those, but I would think people would wait until they're much older, but what is your take on that?
Well, what's happening and what we're seeing the trend of lately is that people are coming in younger and younger, because what we're realizing is that if you start, as soon as you start seeing those wrinkles begin, you're going to prevent the etching that etches in your face, because once those deep lines are in there, it's a lot more work for me to try to get things smoothed out. Whereas if you do a little bit all along, then you're going to prevent a lot of the etching from happening.
Okay, very interesting. So now you mentioned filler and Botox. Is that the same thing, or what's the difference between those?
Well, fillers is actually a filler material that we inject into the face. If you go to larger cities, they're actually filling entire faces. I'm not doing it that much, but the main areas where people come in wanting fillers are going to be the lines around the mouth here, and what we call the marionette lines here, and then, you know, some other lines around the chin area. So we like to think of the fillers are really more suited for the lower face. And what's nice about the fillers also, when you get started younger, is that we now know that the majority of the fillers that are on the market, not only do they fill in the area, which, you know, usually lasts about a year or so, but they also generate the growth of new collagen.
Okay.
So if you start that, you know, that's going to be a little bit of an older age group, maybe, you know, mid-40s, you know, somewhere in that ballpark. But if you start that fairly young, then even though the filler may clear out, you're going to grow new collagen around that filler material, which again is going to delay the onset of those eventual lines that we all get.
So kind of going off that, I don't know a whole lot about Botox. So when you're actually putting I don't know what it is actually that you're injecting into the skin, but how does it stay, how does it not like go everywhere in your skin? How does it just stay there?
Right, well, what it does is, well, if you look at the picture on the screen here, the before, you see she's squinting and she has those deep grooves that make her look kind of angry.
Right.
And then afterwards, you see how smooth she is. She's contracting her eyes the same way, but it's smoothed out. When we're putting Botox in, we're putting literally a teeny minuscule drop in the skin.
Okay.
And we're placing it right in the specific muscles.
Okay.
So we purposely know where to put it so it doesn't migrate everywhere.
Okay.
But you bring up a good point, because if you go to some, you know, spa in the mall that charges you $100 to get Botox done, I always tell people, buyer beware.
Yes.
Because they can dilute it and then it can spread, and those are the people that come into me because their eyelid is dropped, or they can't open their eye, or they can't raise their brow. So you need to make sure you're going to somebody who knows how to do it, and that they're not going to try to make more money off the product and then dilute it out and put the patient at a higher risk.
There you go. That's great tips. I also saw a story one time about someone who was doing it at some, you know, hotel room somewhere, and they were actually injecting cement. Did you see that story?
I haven't seen that.
It was awful.
Yeah.
If you would see what the people looked like. I mean, it was just awful. And so it is. I mean, it's a great point to actually go somewhere where they know what they're doing. And
definitely.
So if you guys are interested in any of that, or if you have any questions, or you see a spot on your skin, you're thinking you better get it checked, or just to go in for a routine checkup, because it's probably good to do it anyway. Dr. Greenfield, she's at Albany Dermatology Clinic, albanydermatology.com. Their number is 883-1130, and we appreciate you coming on this morning. It's always great to hear what you have to say.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on over to a